Lohbado. Welcome to another video sequence of images, an audio video poem. Inspired, it started with while washing the dishes, while cleaning the sink. A memory of when Lohbado worked in housekeeping in a huge institution at the age of 21 for a few months to earn money for university, 9 months actually. After graduating with a bachelor's degree and going on to do a master's degree, one day Lohbado complained about how boring it was sitting there with his bucket of water and a rag washing the wall. And his buddy was really annoyed and said, it's not boring, it's interesting. You got to pay attention to the details of how you clean the rag in the bucket of water and how you fold it, etc., etc. So that was the one thing. And then the other thing was the autumn, thinking of Greek mythology, going to the underworld, Hades, death, the leaves fall off the tree onto the ground. A memory of people who died. In this case, Lohbado thought of the death of his grandfather. Grandmother told him about how grandfather died. It was back around the year 1970, 71, something like that. Grandmother told him how he'd died. He was in his early 70s. So these somber thoughts, the somber season, going out in turbulent weather, rain and strong wind, ice wind that cuts to the bone, caused Lohbado to reflect and contemplate things. The human condition is laced with suffering. There's horror in the world. Just turn on the news. The question is, how do you cope? How do you cope with this? And how do you keep your sanity? How do you keep up your morale? How do you keep up your spirits? One way is to pay attention to details of sight and sound, of all the senses. Be aware of all the sense details. And then little flickers of, it kind of snaps your mind out of negative states into appreciation, like anything you're doing, even just washing your rag at the sink and cleaning the sink, you could enjoy the texture of wiping the counter and the sound of water from the tap going down the drain. Little moments of happiness happen once in a while as consolation. A whole bunch of birds suddenly, crows suddenly appear on the tree in front of the house. And there's a wonderful photographer who did a book on crows. Whenever I hear the crows, I think about this author, Masahisa Fukase, this Japanese photographer. Back in '87, I had an issue of Aperture magazine that featured his crows. I can't remember, maybe 10 pages of his crow photographs. It was really, really magnificent, and that made me really happy. You know, Fukase, and that's probably, I guess, his most famous work was the crows. You can be in the middle of your mundane, boring, depressed, anxious day. You've just read about all the horrors happening in the news and seeing the changes to the environment and all the challenges of humanity, and then you, okay, I can't do two things at once, but go to the library, go for a walk, or just a little thing. Okay, I'm repeating it over and over again, but just paying attention to the senses, because focusing on the senses can cut through all the blah, 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 blah in the head. That's it in a nutshell. The head is full of, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, horror. And then suddenly you just see these crows, or I'm looking at my beautiful plants in the window, the way the sunlight comes and illuminates the green leaves. And, you could be living in a dump, but you've got some nice books around and maybe a guitar in the corner that you can make beautiful music and so on. So I wish happiness and peace of mind. Lohbado received a powerful lesson when he worked as a janitor in a giant industrial complex. He was 21 years old and working as a janitor to pay for university. The buddy he worked with was showing him how to clean his rag. Lohbado was bored out of his mind. His eyes were glazed over in sheer boredom. His buddy got annoyed. He said, that this is not boring, that this is interesting, that you should pay attention to how you put your rag in the water and how you swish it around and how you wring it out and how you fold it. There's a proper way to do this. It's interesting. It's not boring. Lohbado's buddy got really annoyed with him for being bored, washing walls and ceiling, mopping floors. There's a proper way to mop a floor. There's a proper way to clean your mop in the hopper room. Inner and outer brain fog. Awareness. 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 Are you aware? Awareness. Brain fog. Inner and outer brain fog. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Listen to the birds. Can you hear the birds? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? The death of Lohbado's grandfather. Lohbado woke at 3 a.m. with an image of his grandfather. His grandmother had told him how the old man in his 70s, he was in his early 70s, and he woke in the night in heat and pain, and he walked with his shirt open, his bare chest exposed to the cool air. He walked up and down the hall, up and down stairs. This happened 3 nights in a row, and on the 3rd night he died of a heart attack. Down the drain. Willingness to understand, a sense of humor, joyful, uninhibited imagination. Circulation of traffic, like red and white corpuscles, arteries and veins. Outer noise, inner noise. Take a deep breath, a sigh, and let it all go. Relax. Bathe in the sensations.